So we're going to do a quick video on installation of the Polaris ATV spreader on a 2001 Polaris Sportsman. This is the model ATV S15A. What you get with the kit, or what you get in the box, is you get your spreader, which is a big poly tube, a plate on the bottom of it that changes your flow. This is a plastic spreader, which actually isn't screwed down. That's going to have to be tightened up. Motor on the bottom, deflector plate, and this is on the back here is a box receiver tube. Clearly it's the same frame that they use for their receiver hitch models, but the 2001 Sportsman doesn't have one. And what it comes with on the back of it is this plate here. This plate mounts here with two hitch pins. And this is what you actually mount to your four-wheeler. So you have an option with these. Either find a way to mount this to the back of your four-wheeler, which I'll show you what I do, or the other option is just buy a bolt-on box receiver kit for your four-wheeler and then buy the model that has that. And anyways, otherwise included in the kit is some U-bolts and some wing nuts, and then this arm that kind of snakes through the top of the plate and sits in here, so you can control your flow of material without getting off. Anyways, that's what you get, and we'll move on to really the only installation step, if you will, getting this thing on your four-wheeler. So one real quick thing, the thing I left out about included in the box is this power adapter. It's got a plug on one end that plugs into the spreader, an on-off switch in the center, and then a cigarette lighter 12-volt plug on the other end. So you actually do need a 12-volt plug on your four-wheeler in order to do this project. Anyways, mounting the plate. You may be better off, again, in retrospect, to buy a bolt-on receiver hitch. Goes into these tubes in the hitch, and you're done. And you can just slide it in and hook up like any receiver hitch. Anyways, I bought this one, and there's no videos online to show how it goes on. So I'm going to do that here. But here's the plate, and you can see that it's really too small for insulation on a Polaris Sportsman. Because if you bolt it down to the rack, it's gonna, first off, there's nothing to bolt the bottom to, and it's just gonna flip in, and you can't really have it hanging by the top too, so it's gonna need some extra support. The rack on this thing is rated for 180 pounds, so from that standpoint, you should be okay, as long as you're not filling the spreader with heaping sand. In any event, first off, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it on the top. And you could probably be okay if you just drill a hole for each U-bolt on the top and put the U-bolt around. But I'm actually going to cut away a piece of the plastic. I think that plastic is going to crack anyways if you tighten this down and you're driving around. And at least if I cut that piece out, I can control where that crack is. So that's the first step, and then I'll put the top two U-bolts. So step one is done. This piece is cut off. I put my top U-bolts on. I drilled a 1/4-inch hole on each where each U-bolt is, and bolted that down. And as you can see, there's nothing to bolt behind here. So what I did is I have some scrap 3/4-inch box beam laying around. I cut a piece of what I had, and I'm going to put that underneath there and put some U-bolts in to hold that there. And that should be good enough to hold it on the bottom. Probably the easiest thing to use in retrospect, now that I'm looking at it, would be a 18-inch long 3/4-inch pipe nipple, or a piece of 3/4-inch pipe that's 18 inches long. And that's assuming that you've cut your plastic so it's laying flush against metal to metal. Otherwise, you're probably going to need a 1-inch box beam or 1-inch weld pipe. Anyways, let's put that bottom piece on. So there it is. I got the bottom U-bolts on around the piece of 3/4-inch scrap. I got my 2 extra U-bolts that I bought from a hardware store, extra tightened up, and that's definitely not going to go anywhere. Next thing I did is I cut a little groove in this plastic ridge in the back of the rack to accommodate that spreader arm. You got to make sure that this little hole is up. And with that, I'm going to grind these down because I'm probably going to leave this plate on. So I'm going to grind those down, and then I'll bring the spreader up, put some hitch pins in, and see if it works. So there you go. The plate is on, the spreader's on the back of the four-wheeler, and now you're got to put on the other stuff, basically plug it in, and you're good to go. And that's kind of the setup or how you'll take it off every time when you're done with the seeder. Anyways, the only last thing to do is to put your control arm on other than plug it in. And you take the long end of it and put it through this hole here. That's why we had to put that hole up, and that's why I had to cut that groove out of the channel. And then the other end of it goes in there. Finally, what comes with it is, in the hardware pack, is this little metal ring with a set screw in it to go on the bottom and hold that in right there. So don't ask me why, but the one on the top here was a 3/32, and I swear that this Allen head is closer to a 2.5 metric. They could both be 3/32, but this bottom one is going to be pretty sloppy in there. So anyways, I'll put that on the bottom, and that'll have the spreader arm up. You also have this little adjustable wing bolt there that allows you to move that front one to the desired location so you can control the flow. Basically, you get to the end of the row, you push back, it shuts the spreader off, so you can turn around and go again. If you don't put this arm on and make adjustments to put it on, you can shut the spreader motor off, but it's still just going to continue to drop out, so you kind of have to do that. And that's it. It's on. Plug the electrical connection in, plug it into your